Hey everybody, Shrike here. The time has finally come. We got Acambe, and now we're going to dive into him. Now he is a destroyer unit, a summoner, summons shadow assassins at instant speed, and then triggers them to do AoEs. Now they don't move on their own, and they disappear after 2 turns, so you've got to be really strategic where you put them, because they're not going to move. They also do assisting attacks with your other units, so with a ranged attack. Their assisting attack is ranged, which probably means you don't want to take them into the weapons trial that has melee damage, because the AoE will be fine, but then the assisting attack that's ranged, you'll get counterattacked. Alright, so let's dive into his trait. Acambe's attack increases by 5%. Already great because the attack and defense of his assassins scale off of his attack and his defense. So, his max energy is increased to 7, and this goes up to 9 at 5 stars, I think, or 3. 3 stars? For every 3 energy owned, he additionally gains 1 energy at the end of the turn. So the more he has, the more he gets. When a shadow assassin is present in battle, he gains Secret Signal, and that's the trigger to make them all do the AoEs. Let me check exactly when he gets 9? Yep, it's at 3 stars, he gets 9 max energy, which is crazy, but he needs it. He is very energy hungry, which is why a lot of people say that he's pay to win. Because you see here, he's got the Cornucopia staff, the pay to win staff, and that is his best in slot. But there are other options, and they say you need a bunch of other units, but there are free-to-play versions of those too. I'll get to that. Let's talk about his rank skills. Now this one's pretty easy. Potential Burst is a better option than Energy Ray, almost every time. Grants the target increased attack 2, physical defense 2, and magical defense 2, and dispels all attribute debuffs from the target, granting immunity to those debuffs, lasting for 2 turns. That's a great buff. And if you don't have all the stuff to make him a super damage dealer, run him as a support for a while. And this one's perfect. I've got other units that use this, so it's not on my loadout at the moment, but it's certainly better than Energy Ray, which is just a stronger version of his basic attack. Now this one here, Squander, practically his bread and butter skill. This one is so good. It's a decision skill with Greed Leads to Ruin or Rich Rewards. Greed Leads to Ruin is instant, which allows you to sprinkle gold coins at the target tile, drawing all enemies and shadow assassins within 3 tiles together and inflicting move 2 down, magic defense 2 down, and no assist on the enemies, lasting for 2 turns. So this does an AoE that changes the location of enemies, which is super powerful. But not only that, it changes the location of the shadow assassins in that AoE so that they're kind of right next to, surrounding, or inside of the enemies, so that they can do their AoEs and hit a lot of enemies. Those two, the trigger and this, go very well together. Rich Rewards goes along with his support role. Restores 1 energy to allies within 3 tiles around, decreases their active skill cooldown by 1 turn, and grants them attack up 2, physical defense up 2, and magical defense up 2. Summoned units additionally gain increased attack 4. The effect lasts for 2 turns. This is crazy. A very good buff in and of itself, and gets even better if there are summoned units. And that doesn't just mean Shadow Assassins. That means Inanna's Guard. That means Safia's friend there. Whether it's Stinger or Blade, I don't really know. I think it's Blade. She summons a Blade. Or those tactics. There's one that you summon an archer. There's one that you summon a training dummy or whatever. I haven't used that one, but I imagine it's just a body there to take hits. But it would raise his attack too, if he can even attack. That one's better than Hypnosis, though Hypnosis can be very good. It's a very good CC skill. It's just not as good as Squander. Alright, for his rank 5, we've got Rage. When hit by an active attack, the damage taken is decreased by 8%. After being attacked, the character gains increased damage 2 for 3 turns. And then we've got Special Clauses. When Acambe is under attack, if there is an allied summoned unit, that means any summoned unit within 3 tiles, Acambe can have the summoned unit take the attack instead, up to 2 times per round. This just makes him very hard to kill. It sort of puts the summons in danger, which there's a reason why you might not want to, but it's a risk. It's a risk-reward thing. I decided it was enough of a reward to take the risk. If you don't, feel free to take Rage. I don't think anyone will hold it against you. Rank 7, we've got Leader's Aura. For all discipline allies in battle, Acambe increases their attack by 10% and defense by 20% for the skills with a cooldown of at least 4 turns. The cooldown is reduced by 1 turn. Additionally, he increases the damage dealt by allied summoned units by 20%. This would be an easy choice if it didn't have that last part. The buff to his summoned units. I would say absolutely Burning Riches every time. Because of that, a lot of people will go with this. A lot of people will actually Castalia them so that they can have them both. And Burning Riches deals 90% damage to the first enemy in each row within a 5x3 area in the target direction, knocks them back 2 tiles, and summons Shadow Assassins in the 3 tiles in the middle. So it pushes them all back 2 tiles and summons 3 right there. After attacking, Acambe gains no energy restored at the end of his turn. He gains a debuff. So it disables the energy restoration at the end of the action. This effect can be immunized against, but cannot be dispelled. Now that's important. This is a very crippling debuff for him. He loves energy. But I have a fix for that. I'll get to it in his gear. So one thing to note about this is if there is an obstruction in one of these 3 slots, I've noticed that it won't summon the unit there. If there's a barrel or something, it just won't summon them there. But the ability he starts with, which I should have started with, nope, Shadow Assassin. It's an instant. It's got a pretty big range, and it just boop, summons a Shadow Assassin at the target location that cannot be controlled. It inherits 85% of Acambe's attack and 20% of his defense and HP. Each time a Shadow Assassin is defeated, the cooldown of his skill is increased by 1 turn. And that's why you don't really want to put them in danger by covering your attacks, but it is what it is. The skill can be cast up to 2 times per round, if you have the energy, which is 2. So, this one can be placed on barrels or even Simona's ice wall. It can be placed right on top of that. You can place these suckers practically anywhere except the abyss. Alright, back to his ranks. Where were we? Yeah, we go with Burning Riches if we don't want to Castalia. We go with both if we do. Some people, if you've got a lot of discipline characters, I'd actually say Leader's Aura might be better. But I went with Burning Riches because I just think it's amazing. It's expensive, and it has a long cooldown, but it's like your finisher. And it can push people off of cliffs, which is great. This is his basic attack replacement. Now, either of these is fine. Deals 80% magical damage and increases the damage of the next skill by 15%. Some people like that. I like this one. Deals 80% magical damage and inflicts reduced attack 1 on the target for 2 turns. I got this one for like boss battles, TOA, which is coming soon. That's going to be pretty competitive, grinding through towers and then one big boss. So I think that that one will be pretty useful there. And for his last skill, Darkest Annihilation, single target attack, deals 180% damage before attacking, gains armor piercing 1 for 1 turn. This is a really strong attack, 180%, and it gains armor piercing. This is super strong. I don't think you're going to go traditional mage build with him, but if you do, then this is your finisher. This is like, if you use this on him, he's like a Night Raven upgrade. Just single target nuke. And so you'll want to pair him with magic defense down people, things like that. But that's not really the direction you want to go. That's like 3rd level down. He's really leaning towards summoner. You could go support if you don't have all the pieces for summoner. And then if you just really like the single target nuke lifestyle, you can go with that. This here is a CC ability. It deals 70% AoE damage to all enemies within a 2-tile radius of the target and inflicts no passive skills and no reaction skills lasting for 2 turns. This is a pretty good one, but there are other units that use it at a much lower rank. I don't know why it's up here at 11 on a legendary unit. It's not on the same level as Darkest Annihilation. And I'm never even going to use this one, which actually is a good thing because this is a basic attack replacement. You don't really want to be basic attacking with a summoner / mage. So it's rank 7 that he's really finished. The build is finished, which is great. All right, let's move on to his gear. Yes, the Cornucopia staff is his best. As you've heard everyone say, he's a very pay-to-win character. But there is a free-to-play path for him. One option is Starry Sky Heritage. It's not bad on him. The skeleton staff, which I don't have, will help him with energy, but only if units on your team die. So it mitigates the fact that all of your summons might die, but putting a weapon on him that wants your own characters to die seems counterintuitive, but it is a free-to-play option. Focus Wand could increase the range of his single target skills, so the Shadow Assassin skill, but it's just one of them. The rest are, I believe, AoEs. So it's not super helpful. I would lean towards Skeleton Staff or Star Sky Heritage if you don't have or want to pay for the Cornucopia Staff. This is what I was referring to before. The fancy hat makes him immune to disrupt. Just flat out, there's no cooldown, just immune to behavior and disrupt debuffs, which include, it's not even listed here, but it prevents him from receiving that no energy received at the end of his turn debuff. I can't even conceive of a world where a different trinket would be better on him. Maybe if you don't use that skill, I guess something that increases his attack, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. But Fancy Hat is just his best in slot. Now, as for Terra Whispers, I've got 2 favorites. And I've swapped back and forth to try them both out, and they both work really well. One is Guidance of the World, and they both have sort of 2 different playstyles. So use whichever one fits your playstyle better. This one is the more passive playstyle. Recovers 1 energy additionally when not using any active skills and using standby. And its secret unlock here is reduce the cooldown of all active skills by 1 turn when not using any active skills and standby. So these 2 together help him out a lot with the energy and cooldown. But you've got to use standby. You've got to skip a turn, basically. Yes, but it doesn't have to be in the middle of the battle. You can start the battle off, and I do this all the time in Clash. Skip the first turn. You're not going to reach the enemy anyway, so you may as well get a little boost to your energy, since he needs so much of it. It's like Garcia. The longer the battle goes on, The more she revs up her buzzsaw, the stronger it gets. You just skip the first turn and with Garcia, and by the time you two meet each other, you're a lot stronger than you would have been if you had headed straight there. Works just like that. The other one, where are you? Here is Temptation of the Devil. Great on any damage dealer, basically. Its secret unlock. Where are you? Here you are. For each, so it's for each one character defeated in battle, gain 1 stack of Devil, and Devil increases your attack and defense of by 3% up to 30%. And this one says for each character defeated in battle, gain 2 stacks. So if it gets the lucky roll here, then for every one character that dies, like your summons, you'll gain 2 stacks of Devil. So attack and defense by 3%, you'll gain 2 stacks of that, up to 30%. So this one's your more aggressive tarot. Both of them work really well. So the skill ceiling is very high for Acambe. He's pretty bad on auto. He's just using the choice skill for me every time. So he really wants to be manualed. And he has so much he can do in one turn with all these instants. And if you play him properly, he's got 9 energy to play with at 3 stars or more, or 7 energy to play with every turn, which is crazy. So you've got to be really tactical with him. I wouldn't suggest pulling on him if you're a free-to-play guy and just a casual player. This is more for the sweats, the people who want a really complicated character and prefer to manual it. Oh, and as you can see here, I put Wand and Cup on him. If we come over here and look at Wand and Cup are, it's this one here, Wand and Cup. At the end of the turn, there is a 50% chance to gain Engraving Resonance, which says using an active skill next time refunds the energy consumed and resets the cooldown. The skill effect has a cooldown of 4 turns. It doesn't trigger in real-time combat. The effect changes to increased HP, attack, and defense by 5%. So even its secondary backup skill increases attack, which is good for his summons. But the main skill, when this procs, you go a whole turn without using any energy. It's amazing. It's not going to proc every turn, but when it does, it's going to be like Christmas morning. There's also the generic when unharmed increases attack and defense by 12%, but that's boring. I like the riskier but higher reward option here. Wand and Cup, so that's what I'm using. There are some other things you can do to help him out, and it can be found over here in the talents. Because he needs so much energy, these are his best tactics to help with. Urgent Order increases the target speed by 300 and recovers 1 energy lasting for 1 turn. Now, one thing I've noticed, I've just figured this out recently actually. If I'm trying to cast a skill and I'm just 1 energy short, you just Urgent Order yourself, the person who has the turn right now, and it just gives them 1 more energy. You miss out on the speed bonus because it's already your turn, but it gives you 1 more energy, and then you can cast that skill. It's crazy. But if he just needs 1 more energy, or he just took a turn and you want him to take another turn before the turn rotation ends, then he can sneak in a turn at the end of the rotation with this. And this one takes the guesswork out of it. They just will act again. Allows them to act again after attacking and grants them attack up to lasting for 1 turn. So this is great because he wants to do a lot of things. So if he gets to do a lot of things twice, that's a lot of better. Increasing his attack also increases all the summons attack as well. The Flag of Convalaria is very expensive, and this one isn't that cheap either, 200. This one's a lot cheaper and very useful. I love using this one. The problem is that Pursuit Order takes the place of March Command. It's in this middle slot, which is just, it's blasphemy to have March Command off of the loadout, but I'm trying out Acambe, so I've got to have everything he wants here. Flag of Convalaria, I'm sure you know what it is. All allies within 5 tiles of the character gain 15% bonus attack and defense at the start of the turn, restores 1 energy, and reduces all skill cooldowns by 1 turn for them. So this is very good energy and cooldown. Great. Those are the things he wants. So, team comps. He wants Coco. He loves Coco. She's like a daughter to him. When she puts bento or breakfast on a unit, they have a chance of gaining happiness. Now, happiness, all skills reduce energy consumption by 1. After use, cooldown is reduced by 1 turn, removed after any action is taken. Reduces energy consumption by 1. That's crazy. Things cost 1 less. A couple other units that can really help him that I don't have are Beryl. She can use her try this ability and give Acambe more energy. Edda has her take arms ability that can do the same thing or similar. I don't have her either. Hayir, the future character, has good news from afar and light of the soul, 2 abilities that can also give him energy. So all of those units will be really good with him, but all of those units are premium, legendary, meta units. So if you're a free-to-play yet you pulled him and want to use him, or you love the character so you pulled even though you're free-to-play, there is a free-to-play option to help him get the energy he needs. And I am proud to introduce you to Candlelight, an all-star for him. Probably his best friend in the whole world. She's got special mission which restores 4 energy to the target ally. 4 energy. And grants attack up 2, which transfers to all of his summons. And magic defense up 2 and physical defense up 2. That is a crazy buff, but that's not all she does. She has Inner Light, which at instant speed can restore 1 energy to all allies. You select 1 ally as the target, then restores 1 energy to all allies within 3 tiles around the target. The character cannot be the target, so she can't be the target of this ability. But that's crazy. And then she has Potential Burst, the thing we were talking about with Acambe. Great buff. It dispels all the debuffs on you and grants you immunity to those debuffs. So you can build her super support, like Acambe's best friend. And she's free to play. Amazing. And I would recommend Focus Wand on her, because she has a lot of single target skills. Increase the range of those bad girls. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you can place your summons, your Shadow Assassins, inside Momo's Doomwaken field, and it won't trigger her Doomwaken. She won't do the meteor thing. It's a nice way to get your units close to her, because it's usually just magic or ranged, because you don't want to step inside that field. If you're going up against him, Acambe, I suggest taking a skill like... Where is it? This one. Energy Depleting Blow. Single target attack deals 130% damage and depletes all of the target's energy. This would just nerf him to the ground. But you gotta hit him with it before he gets off all of his assassins everywhere. But that's a good way to counter him. So I've been really enjoying him. I've got his loadout looking like this. Special Clauses as his reaction. Shadow Assassin I kept. Burning Riches, which is his big AoE, knockback, summon 3 Shadow Assassins, and then his choice. So I can group them together to make it easier for the Shadow Assassins to attack them, or I can restore 1 energy to allies and give them a buff. So, yeah, really good character, really high skill ceiling, not free to play friendly, but free to play possible with the use of those tactics. Candlelight will be super powerful and super important with the free to play builds with him. And the Fancy Hat, I think the Fancy Hat is a must if you're using that skill. And the World Tarot, even if you're not playing defensive and skipping the first turn, you will run out of energy and you just won't have things to do. And so skipping that turn will provide you with more of a bonus and make your next turn hit even harder. Well, that's it for me. That's all I have to say about Acambe. I'm going to fly. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.